Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ball Draw, and today we are getting right into the swing of the Premier League. We're going to be giving you one player that every club should sign. We're working our way down from how the table finished last season and obviously replacing the relegated teams with the 3 promoted teams.
Hope you enjoyed our last video where we ranked transfer income in so far. So we've gone from transfers that have happened to some transfers we think should happen.
Exactly.
Bing, bang, bomb. And we're going to... So we got 10 teams each. We split the league half and half. And I got Manchester City. And the player I think Manchester City should sign is Frenkie de Jong.
Interesting.
He's one of those players. Every summer, for some reason, he's touted with leaving Barcelona.
That's because they have no money.
Yeah, they're about to spend like 60, 70 mil to get Dani Olmo in.
Yeah.
Mental club. But he's 27, in his prime. And the only thing that I'm a little bit worried about with him is he's got a bit of an injury history.
Yeah.
But what I when I was thinking about it, was thinking, Man City's like one of the best clubs.
For managing minutes.
Exactly that. So I think he could go there, get his minutes managed, still be at an elite level. And he's one of those players, I think where they wanted to get Calvin Phillips in was to either play with Rodri or by himself and could do both of those.
De Jong can do.
De Jong could do that. He could play with Rodri or could play by himself. I think you could probably get him for around 50, 60 mil.
I think that's what they're asking for, a cut price fee, because they need to sell.
And they just sold Julian Alvarez for 90-ish mil.
Yeah, that's an outrageous deal.
So they've got money. I think that'd be a banging transfer.
I completely agree. Right, Arsenal.
Jeez. Who you got for my boys?
Arsenal are a team who are looking stacked across the board. They bought in Calafiori, which is a fantastic signing.
So we need a handsome player.
Another handsome player. And I'm looking right at the other end of the pitch. Yeah. Arsenal's striker problem. I don't know if you call it a striker problem.
Yeah,
they're just lacking someone who just wants to score a crazy number of goals. And the man for that is Victor Gyökeres. So the only thing about this is that he's been slapped with an £86 million release clause. So I think that's almost put Arsenal off this deal.
Yeah, because there was a lot of rumours kind of like towards the end of last season.
Yeah.
But they've kind of died down a little bit.
Yeah, he's sort of fallen off the train a little bit. A lot of clubs are looking elsewhere. Dominic Solanke is one that's been touted with a lot of Premier League clubs. Tottenham as well. 65 million. I think for 20 million, just go and get Gyökeres. Just 20 million extra. He's the player that will put you on track or above City.
Yeah, he is
in that top end.
One of those players. There's not many players in the world these days that are like hungry for goals.
He is such a complete player. He's good in the air, which Arsenal don't really have anyone up top who can do that, apart from maybe Havertz. But Gyökeres will get on the end of things, gives you options from deep crosses then. He's fantastic with his feet. He's brilliant with the link-up play. I think he is the player that Arsenal needs to go out and get if they are serious about winning the Premier League this season.
I like it. I do like it. Right, back to me. I've got Liverpool. Arne Slot's Liverpool.
I'm very interested to see who you've got for that.
I've gone rogue. I don't know. I was a bit like umming and ahhing about this one. I've gone for Yves Bissouma from Spurs.
Interesting.
He's 27. He's played alongside McAllister at Brighton when that Brighton team were flying. So I think that partnership at Liverpool could do something special. His contract ends next summer.
Okay.
And Spurs paid just under 30 mil for him. So I reckon he could be available for around 50 mil. And I don't know, with that Spurs midfield, with them getting Archie Gray, with them getting Lucas Berval, I feel like he might be slightly out of favour. He doesn't really suit Ange's style. And I think, if Liverpool were looking... He's slightly worse than Caicedo. But Liverpool were looking at Caicedo, couldn't get him in. But I think Yves Bissouma could be a good kind of step up from Endo before they find... Because I don't think there's that many world-class DMs on the market. And I think Bissouma could be a smart move.
Yeah, when I was looking at my players who I think teams should sign, DMs are hard to come by. But yeah, I think that'd be a very interesting sign if they were to make it. I think maybe that is the area that Liverpool need to look to strengthen in the most. They've got pretty much good depth everywhere else. Endo was sort of a means to an end there.
Yeah.
But he wasn't going to be the real deal. And he has played his part.
Yeah.
But 100%. Yeah, potentially Bissouma could be a brilliant shout.
I just really like that the partnership with McAllister could be reignited. Could be something interesting.
Right. I have Aston Villa.
Jeez.
And I kind of struggled here. I was thinking like maybe you go for like a wing back. Maybe I'll go for someone like Onana's not really a direct replacement for Douglas Luiz, but I don't know. And then I was like, Diaby. Diaby,
Left, yeah.
yeah, he's gone. So it left me pondering for a minute. I was like, who's someone who can replicate what Diaby does, comes in at a fairly decent price? Because I don't think Villa are going to be spending crazy more money.
They've spent a lot already.
Because they've already spent a fair amount. The man I picked up, yeah, Federico Chiesa.
Jeez, I like it. I do like it. I'm a big Chiesa fan.
He's such a top player, and if he didn't have a terrible injury record,
he's honking.
He would be one of the top wingers in the world.
Yeah.
And Juventus are looking to sell at a cut price deal. I've heard 15 or 20 million.
Yeah, apparently they didn't even take him to pre-season, which is mental.
Nuts. I think for 15 or 20 million, he is definitely worth the punt. If Emil Smith-Rowe is worth 35, 37?
Yeah, I'll back it.
Then Chiesa, I think Chelsea and Tottenham are both in for him as well, in discussion, but they ain't got Champions League football, mate. Unai Emery could get Chiesa back to his best, firing. He could play pretty much anywhere along the front three.
Yeah, it's true.
His versatility, and I think he does almost what Diaby does. He's direct. He'll chip in with goals and assists. I think it'd be a fantastic signing and one to light up the Premier League.
I like it. I like to see him in the Prem. So, back to me. I've got Spurs. And so I said that they could lose Basuma, potentially. So I've got them getting a CM in. This is a guy that I didn't know much about until I was doing some research on him, and I'm very impressed with him. He's called Anton Stack. Plays for Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim finished 7th in the league. They got Europa League, and he was one of the most important players. In Europe's top 5 leagues, he's finished 2nd for most interceptions per 90. 2.3.
That's Ange Ball all over, isn't it?
Exactly that. He's big, he's strong, 25 years old. I'll hit you with some stats. He's versatile as well. He can play DM, centre mid, and attacking mid. Hit you with some stats. In central midfield, 30 appearances, 4 goals, 6 assists. So that's 1 in every 3. Attacking midfield, 63 appearances, 8 goals, 9 assists. And then in DM, somehow, he's bagging 14 assists. So he gets involved a lot. And I think he could be available for around 25 mil. I think they got him on the cheap. I think, legs in the midfield. He's young, like this kind of Spurs side that they're building, young players, young, interesting players. Yeah, it could be something interesting.
Physicality as well.
Physical.
It sounds a little bit like if Pierre-Emile Højbjerg was better.
Yeah, he's that kind of player. Versatile, just good all-rounder that could, bring something to that midfield.
Right, that's a very interesting one. I like that. Chelsea.
Come on.
I mean, this is difficult because, who haven't they tried to sign?
Mate, I saw a picture on Twitter of their, full squad at the moment. I'll put it on the screen now. There's about 13 players in every position. It's nuts.
I saw,
how have they still got Lukaku on the books?
A starting 11 of players that have come from the academy and left.
Yeah.
And it's actually generally better than,
Yeah.
It's mental. Chelsea, their problem last season, I think, they had a lot of fucking problems, but one of the main problems was someone to put the ball in the back of the net. I think they need to go with someone who's just going to do that non-stop. No matter what league they play in, they're just going to put the ball in the back of the net. They get Lukaku off the books, get Osimhen in.
Osimhen.
And I think it's a little bit of a conundrum here because Nicholas Jackson, I don't think he's a bad player at all.
No, and they're going to sign that Samu Amoridon from Atletico, who looks like just a slightly worse Nicholas Jackson. Yeah,
so my thinking was, on the left, they've got Mudryk, who I'm not really impressed with. I think Cole Palmer's better in the middle. So you have Jackson out on the left, and you play Osimhen up top.
I like it. I think Osimhen needs...
I think they just need to go big. They need someone who he just isn't goal shy. He just really does want to just...
And they need someone that's proven right now rather than more and more kids.
And for me, I was tempted just to put no one.
Yeah.
They shouldn't sign anyone. But yeah, for me, I think Osimhen is the obvious answer. I think it's between them and PSG for him if he goes. So yeah, I don't know. Chelsea was very uninspiring for me.
Okay. On to me. I've got Newcastle, who, if news is true, is about to sign Mark Gay from Crystal Palace for around 70 mil.
It's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money, which kind of played into my thinking that they're, A, not going to want to spend too much more, and B, not going to need any major defensive reinforcements.
And they might also be losing people going forward.
Exactly. So, I've gone for a right winger that I was very excited pre-Euros about him, And then at the Euros, he was very good. Dan and Doy. He joined Bologna a couple of seasons ago for 10 mil. So I reckon he's gone up in value, obviously, but I'd say probably available for around 30 mil.
I would say the same. Yeah.
23 years old, really good at the Euros. Exciting for Bologna last season. He's big, strong, can play right wing or left wing. And I think, him and Anthony Gordon on one side, and then you got Harvey Barnes, who's got an injury record, but he could come in. Those three as your winging options, bangers.
Yeah, I like it. I think he was so impressive at the Euros. And it'd be a very Newcastle sign, I think.
Yeah, it's a good move. And there's loads of value to be had in him. Like, he could go up in value majorly.
Yeah, I don't think he's the type of player who would take long to settle in. I think he obviously has a really good presence up top. And he seems like an Eddie Howe signing, to be honest.
Yeah, I like him.
Right. Who have I got next? Finishing off basically all my
big boys.
I've got Manchester United.
Jeez. They're an interesting one because
I was thinking, like,
they're not really linked to many people.
Do they need a right back, but they're probably going to get Mazraoui? Do they need a left back? Well, they've got Dalot and Mazraoui and Shaw. And if Malacia ever comes back from his holiday, I think they're all right. They've bought in Euro. I think they're going to get De Ligt, so maybe centre-backs will be okay. Going forward, they've got Rashford, they've got Anthony, they've got... Not seriously, but they've got Højlund still, and they've got Palestri, Garnacho. I was thinking, right, maybe they just need someone in the middle of the park. Someone to bring a bit of experience, because Mount's not really done it since he's come in. Bruno's obviously going to play in the 10. Kobe Mainu, fantastic. I think they just need someone to
play alongside
to make Kobe Mainu play to his best.
Yeah.
Frankie de Jong. From your Manchester club to mine.
Yeah, go on.
He's someone at Ten Hag has literally just like been on his knees for the entire time.
That's true.
Since he's been there, I think it's a great time for him to go out and get him. I think Ineos are serious. He's still young. Get from a cup, like sort of a bit of a cup prize, and I think he's so good at transitional play, which is what Manchester United want to do. He start play from deep. He can find that final ball. He arrives late in the box. He brings it all. He's technical. He's a tempo man, and he's physical. I think he's a really all-rounded midfielder, and he'll get on great with his fellow Dutchman, Ten Hag.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think he's one of those players I want to see in the Prem.
It makes sense, doesn't it?
He's so techy.
Makes sense.
Right, I've got West Ham, and obviously they're in the market for a right back. We've seen the links with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'm going one up from that. I think this guy is better, Prem proven, younger. Matty Cash. I think towards the end of the season for Villa last year, he kind of fell out of favour.
I think he's like Mr. Inconsistent.
They played Ezri Konsa at right back. So I think he could be got for around 25, 30 mil. I think he's good offensively, good defensively, still only 26. I think he could prove to be... He's better than Wan-Bissaka going forward. Defensively, obviously not as good. But when you've got good centre-backs in Max Kilman, Mavropanos, whoever else they have, I think, they want someone that's going up the pitch, overlap Jared Bowen. I think Matty Cash is a good option.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think he'd probably be available for around the same amount of money as Wan-Bissaka. Yeah. And like you say, he's definitely better going forward. You've got two different sides of the coin there.
And Villa could be looking to sell some players, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah, they probably could. I like that a lot.
Thanks, man.
Right. Crystal Palace.
Ooh. They've got money burning a hole in their pocket right now.
Yeah, they do.
Elise money, probably Gay money.
Eze money.
Exactly.
Elise money. Maybe Mateta money.
Maybe Wharton money.
So, they took Eze from us, yeah?
Come on.
And it looks like Eze might be on his way. He's going to go Man City. Inside the knowledge. And that worked out for them. They took our talismanic number 10. So let them do it again.
Okay.
They're going to take Chair. It's time. Chair is one of the most consistent performers in the Championship. He is absolutely outrageous. He's always near the top for chances created. He's been double digits goals and assists for year on year. It's time for him to step up. And I think he's like Eze, but maybe just a little bit more uncontrolled, maybe a little bit more selfish. But I think you get him for a cut price. You get him for so cheap. You get him for like less than 10 mil, I think. Ooh. And I think he'd fit right into that Palace team. He would operate in such a really good role in that sort of asymmetric Glasner system. Yeah, I think Ilias Chair for Crystal Palace.
I like
History
it.
is about to repeat itself.
No, I like it. I think he is probably due a move to the Prem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, I've got Brighton.
Interesting.
So, they lost one of our favourite players in Pascal Gross this summer. And that kind of, obviously centre mid, that's kind of like opened up a hole there, but I think they've got enough players centre mid. But also right back. We've done a video kind of showing his versatility and how he used to cover a lot of right back. So, no Gross and Tariq Lamptey having like a terrible injury record. I think there's a problem at right back. So, I've gone for a player from Salzburg called Amar Dedic. 21 years old, so kind of matches Brighton's recruitment strategy of buying young and selling. 8 goals or assists in 21 appearances in the Bundesliga, Swiss one, not the Bundesliga. So yeah, I think he's like an interesting signing. Could be young, so could they sell him for a lot of money down the line? And yeah, I think fills in a good gap where Gross and Lamptey leave a hole.
Yeah, I mean, Tariq Lamptey is unreliable now, which is a shame because he was so good. And Pascal Gross is going to be a great miss for the Premier League because he's such a good player.
Such a good player. I mean, Salzburg signed this guy for under £1 million. So if Brighton slap like anything around 10, that's pure profit for them.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. I think, and it goes to like along with what Brighton's strategy is. Yeah. Right, I've got Bournemouth, a team that I struggle with a lot because I really like what they've got.
Yeah,
they've got.
I don't really see any like glaring holes.
Kirkers. They bought in Sinistera as well. They can keep hold of Solanke.
Yeah, that's like the only glaring hole, isn't it? If they do lose him.
Clivert. And I was looking at the team. I was thinking, where could they improve? And then I looked to their right back, and I was like, Adam Smith.
Yeah.
And I think he's like a Bournemouth fan favourite. He's been there for so long. And I was like, maybe don't replace him straight away. You should bring someone to give him a bit of competition. Thought someone who could get, who is like a reasonable player that you could get in. And I've gone for Milan van Uyck from Coventry.
Okay.
Coventry City's Dutch right back. He's just been fantastic for them.
I haven't watched much of him, but I remember him in that match against Man United.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and I really think he could definitely make a step up. I'm surprised there hasn't been more sort of interest in him this summer from Premier League teams, especially some of the promoted teams. But he's brilliant going forward. He's so dangerous going forward. He's dynamic, and they've got Kirkes on the other wing, who's been really impressive. And I think that would just balance them out nicely. It sort of alleviates a bit of that pressure on Kirkes to be one of the main sort of attacking threats going forward from deep. And I think he would just be such a good sign on the right-hand side. And he's got Dutch compatriots in the team. And I think if Bournemouth are serious about maybe pushing on for a Conference League or Europa League spot under Areola, a sign like this is they can get him for probably under 10 mil. And then if they do well, you could definitely sell him on for a lot of money.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
No, I like it. I like balancing out Kirkes with someone else that's attacking and exciting. I like that. Right, up next we've got Fulham.
Interesting.
Now, Luke, tell me, who did Fulham lose this summer that's going to be a huge loss going into the season?
Mr. Paulinho.
Exactly that. So that's exactly where my brain went. I was like, who the hell are they going to get in?
A lot of if I'm going for like these teams, I'm like, who have they lost first?
Yeah. And Paulinho is probably
the biggest
of the biggest losses for like a specific team in the Premier League. Like,
arguably a bigger loss for Fulham than Mitrovic was.
Yeah, I agree. So they're looking for a DM, like a battler, get the ball back for them.
Is Basuma.
I don't hate it, but
Stack.
This guy, Morten Frendrup, 23 years old, 217 appearances already. What I did is I looked at stats. I'm not a really stat guy, but I did some statting. So in Europe's top 5 leagues, he's 4th for most tackles per 90. First place, João Paulinho. So this guy's only a couple of places lower than him. João Paulinho makes 4.6 tackles per 90, which is nuts numbers, actually. But this guy makes 3.6.
Okay.
Interceptions per 90. Paulinho, 1.4. Frendrup, 1.4. I really like what he's about. He's aggressive, big build. Genoa only paid 3 million for him a couple of seasons ago, so I reckon give him 20 mil. Fulham look like they're willing to splash the cash. They got about 60 mil for Paulinho, so I think, I don't hate it. 23 years old, so there's room for him to grow. They could sell him on down the line. Yeah, I think he's a good João Paulinho replacement.
Lovely. Sounds like a like-for-like replacement.
That's what we need here.
But he cannot be replaced.
It's huge.
Right, who did I just do? I just did Bournemouth. Right, I'm on to Wolves. I'm going to fix Wolves. They had a big loss with Max Kilman.
Yeah.
And I was looking, and the centre-backs are pretty lackluster now.
Who they got? Craig Dawson?
Craig Dawson's about 600. And I was thinking, like, they've got a couple, like, young guys that are getting minutes, and I was like, maybe you just need someone, though, who can come in, who's not super old, but he's got experience, someone who's Prem-proven, who you could probably get for a decent fee. Ethan Pinnock.
Interesting.
From Brentford.
I've done a similar move for another team, but I'll say that later. But yeah, Ethan Pinnock I like.
Yeah, I think he's just really underrated.
Yeah, stat-wise, I swear he's like one of the best defenders in the league.
Always performing, never really gets his plaudits. And yeah, I think he'd be just such a fantastic sign for them. I know they're interested in Burnley's Esteve, the young French centre-back, but I think you don't want to play the season too risky. Like, you had a decent season under O'Neill. You're sort of refining who you are a bit after losing Nuno a while ago. So it's all now about being solid at the back and being exciting going forward. They've got such good exciting talent. So you just need a really solid foundation. And I think Pinnock brings that.
Yeah.
He brings experience. He's cool, calm, collected. He's dangerous from corners and set pieces. I think he'd be a great signing for them. And I think they can get him for a fairly decent fee.
I like it.
Overpaying.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Only 31, so he's got a couple seasons in him still at the top level.
Right, up next, I've got Everton. So, in my opinion, Everton are a team that can't put the ball in the back of the net. They've been struggling up top with Calvert-Lewin for 3 seasons now. The guy is not it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want them to bring in a striker, and the striker I've got for them is Gorka Gurazeta. So, he plays for Bilbao. Last season, he got 14 goals, 5 assists.
Okay.
5 assists I like because what I think he'll do well in the Dyche system is bring other players like Ndai into play. I think he'll do well there. 6'2", big player. Yeah, and I think he's Bilbao got him on a free, so any kind of good transfer fee. 27 years old, in his prime, and yeah, I think he'd be a good striker for the Dyche system.
Yeah, I mean Everton probably don't have a lot of money to spend. They've taken obviously the Onana
15
deal.
mil, 15 to 20 mil.
Yeah, and they bought in Dye. So yeah, I think changes up top are what's needed. I mean, they keep hold of Brantwaite. I think it's a good enough window as it is. But yeah, just a little bit of something.
Yeah, I think Gurazeta up top, knocking balls down to Ndai and kind of like a shadow striker. Yeah. I like that.
I think that'd be really nice. It sounds a bit like a Dyche system gone mad. Right, I've got Brentford now.
Come on.
So obviously I've just advised that they lose Ethan Pinnock to Wolves. I'm not going to replace him.
Mad.
I'm going to take a trip down south to Wayne Rooney's Plymouth and have a look at Morgan Whittaker.
I like him.
Player who absolutely tore up in the Championship last season. He was fantastic. He had the highest percentage of shots involved of any players in the Championship last season. So he was involved in the most shot ending actions. He's just electric. He's dynamic. He's a bit lanky, but he wins the ball. He's just a fantastic dribbler. Really, really brave. Sort of quite an old school winger in terms of he wants to beat people all the time, and he loves just pinging shots from like 20 yards, 30 yards, which you don't really see now. And I sort of see a little bit of Ollie Watkins in him. He's maybe more of like an exciting winger than more of a clinical finisher. But that's kind of what Ollie Watkins used to be.
Yeah.
And I think Brentford could literally do the same thing again, pick up Ollie Watkins that they did from Exeter. They could pick up Morgan Whittaker from Plymouth, Exeter's rivals.
I love it.
And I think he'd be a really fantastic job, especially if they lose Tony and Burma maybe could play a little bit more through the middle, or they can have Burma on one side and Whittaker on the other. So, yeah, I really like Morgan Whittaker.
Yeah, I like it.
And I would love to see him in the Prem.
Yeah, no, I back it. I think that's a good move. Right, up next, I've got Nottingham Forest. And it was one of those teams where I didn't really know where their kind of weak links are. We said in our transfer video that they signed Milenkovic, so I was really happy with that centre-back signing. So I've gone for a centre-mid for them, and a player that I think will be out of favour at West Ham next season. I've gone for Thomas Souček. I think West Ham probably are moving on from him. They're going to do like an Alvarez Paquetá with maybe Kudus in the middle, Sensio, Bowen. So I think he's going to be out of favour at West Ham. 29, Prem proven, goal threat, which is something I think Nottingham Forest need. They need goals. And I think he could play well in that midfield role with Danilo. Yeah, goal threat, big body, Prem proven. I like it. I think he could do a job there. 7 goals last season. Teams down the bottom, they need goal scorers.
Yeah, he does score a lot of goals for
so I don't hate it. I reckon he could be available
like really cheap.
Like 15 mil. Yeah, 10, 15 mil.
I think, I don't know, it's a bit of a weird one because I think that signing itself just screams relegation to me. But it's probably the kind of signing they need.
Yeah, I think for West Ham and where West Ham want to go, he's probably not that level anymore.
Is he a Steve Cooper-esque player?
I don't know.
What is a Steve Cooper-esque
That's true.
player?
I think he could still do a job in the Prem, is my thinking.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they just need a lot of hard bodies. I think it's going to be a hard season for them. We're going to be doing our Premier League table predictions after this. So make sure you check that out if this is out after or before. I don't know. I don't mind it.
I think he can
where
still
else
do a job.
Where else are they going to strengthen? You know what I mean?
I think he's still good enough to do a job in the Prem. And yeah, maybe not for West Ham where like they're making pretty like going for Europe level signings, and I think maybe Souček can still do a job around the bottom.
I've got my last two of the newly promoted teams. Starting with Ipswich. I've gone. So I like what they've done. We spoke about this in the transfer ranking video we did, where they've sort of tried to keep a lot of the players that they had last season. They've made a few good additions, and I think it's always a tough season going up from the Championship to the Premier League, especially when you're not one of the bounce back teams because you haven't had that initial Premier League score to build off of. But I think this could be a tough season. I think they're going to need a lot of experience, a lot of cool heads at the back. Del Fry from Middlesbrough, centre back.
I like him. I used to get him a lot on Football Manager.
He's always one of the best centre backs in the Championship. I wouldn't say he's underrated, but it's surprising to me that no one's come and sort of gone in for him. He's a Middlesbrough man at heart, so it'd be very difficult and probably unlikely to see us leave. But the law of the Premier League is strong. I think he'd be a really solid addition. Maybe not even if he's going to start every game, but just to have him around. He's such a solid player. Really good with his feet, fantastic in the air, and I think he'd be a solid addition to McKenna's back line.
Talking of back lines, my last team is Leicester, and I think promotion teams, they need solid back lines as a minimum to stay up. And my suggestion for Leicester is Fabian Schär. I think with Newcastle getting in Gay, I think Gay and Botman are going to be their kind of starting two.
Yep.
And Fabian Schär, he's 32 years old now, so probably available on a cheap. His bags of experience, was really good at the Euros. 1 year left on his contract as well, so they could get him really cheap. And yeah, Prem proven, 32. You see like the likes of Thiago Silva still playing at 30.
Yeah.
I think Shah's still got a couple of years in him in the Prem.
100%.
And I think, yeah, he'd be a good bit of recruitment for them.
I think that'd be a fantastic signing for them. I think that's exactly what you need when you go up to Prem. You often see the recipe for success is having one really experienced centre-back and then one of your young guns.
Yeah.
And the experienced guys telling the guy who could do it all, sort of how to play, keep it calm, organise that back line. And yeah, Shah is someone with lots of experience, seen him at the Euros as well.
So good at Euros, yeah.
Yeah, and he's always been solid for Newcastle, so a fantastic signing. Rounding that up for me, I've got Southampton.
Jeez.
I really like Southampton under Russell Martin. I think it's going to be really hard to step up for them, though. From going to play in a game where they're going to have 90% of the possession to one where they're probably going to concede a lot of shots on goal.
Yeah, you see that with teams that like their style of playing the
Burnley,
champ is like the whole possession the whole game. Going up to the Prem, you're not going to get that anymore.
But for me, I was looking towards the other end. They've obviously brought in Brereton Diaz, which is exciting. We like it was a really good signing. Up top, they've got Edozie and Armstrong. Two players who I don't think are Premier League quality.
Well, yeah, Armstrong last time he came to the Prem just didn't cut the mustard.
No. And Edozie, I think, is very inconsistent. So I have racked my brains, and the best I could come up with was Carlton Morris. He done it last season for Luton.
For Luton, yeah.
I think a lot of people were really impressed with his work rate. And I think for a team who probably aren't going to get a lot of opportunities every game, you need someone who's going to take them, who knows what it's like to be in a relegation dogfight. Carlton Morris. I think he would be very cheap. I know he's not the youngest striker, but he's physical. He's a good hold-up as well. So if you need a quick release, you need to ping a ball up the pitch, he will win those flick-ons. He'll win those knockdowns.
Yeah, he was good last year, yeah.
And I think he's the type of player that will, he'll come in and he give 120% every game and exactly what you need. So,
I like it. It's a good shout.
Yeah, I think Carlton Morris, maybe for Southampton, but I very much doubt it'll happen.
I like it. Let us know what you think about our suggestions in the comments down below. And if you have any suggestions for any teams, we'd like to see them.
If you guys do want to cop yourself some cheeky football shirts, send us with classic football shirts, and use code BOARDRAW10 at checkout, along with our referral link in the description. Save yourself a little 10%, and you'll have some nice, fresh new kits for the upcoming football season. Like we said, the season is fast approaching. We'll be pumping out the content, so make sure you are around. Make sure you are subscribed, hit like, let us know down below, and it's Board Draw.
Follow us on TikTok.
And it's live.